The Zacks rank, value, momentum, growth, and income all factor into Zacks rank buys.
Well, the aggressive growth radar is flashing signals on a couple of stocks in a kind of a storage play. Brian Bolin, our aggressive growth strategist here, going to tell us more about it. Now, we're not talking about mini storage warehouses.
Right. It's not
that
like,
kind of a storage
right.
play.
This isn't stuff for hoarders.
Okay.
But, I mean, in one way, I guess you could be a hoarding things and, documents and data.
These are storage devices.
Storage devices, right. So, hard disk drives, that sort of thing. And two big names in the space very recently reported. They both beat earnings expectations and had great guidance. And both of the names are Seagate and Western Digital.
Yeah, some old-time names.
Right, old-time names, but this is obviously a great space because there's a lot of good things going on. So, what were the reasons for the beats and why did they guide higher? I think number one, they talked about phones. Everyone's got a phone, and I think we've seen that, but it seems more and more that you're running out of storage space on your phone, at least the older versions. And we're even seeing commercials, from Google on that effect, speaking to that effect right now.
Unless you're like me and you don't put anything on it, then you got all sorts of space.
You got tons of space, Terry, but a lot of people are having difficulty managing the space with their pictures, the apps, the who knows what that they're doing on their phones.
Right.
So, the increase in storage space demand on phones is a driver. But, then you're saying, well, what about the cloud? Isn't everything going to the cloud? Well, these two companies then, offer that storage space to the cloud companies as well. So there is that space as well. And then finally, there's the PC market. And both companies noted that the PC demand is healthier than expected. And recently I've been shopping for a new PC, and I have seen, the storage space on hard disk drives is going up and up and up. And I don't need that much space, but I keep on seeing the very minimum, the lowest end computer, has much more than what I need. So I'm seeing much more, storage space out there, at least, available at reasonable prices.
Wasn't it not long ago that people were talking about the death of the PC market?
Right, exactly. Everyone was thinking that everyone's storage was going to be on the cloud and there was going to be no need for hard drives.
Right.
But people want to keep their data and they want to keep it close. You don't want to have everything in the cloud. I don't want to depend everything and put all my eggs in one basket.
Okay.
But
well, let's look at these.
Let's take a look at these eggs, and hopefully they won't become goose eggs, right? Like is so often the case when I pick a stock. So we got Western Digital. It's a number one strong buy, Zacks rank number one, and it's got that growth style score of A. And I think we were talking about the earnings here, and let's I'm going to jump to the tab here. We can see that the most recent quarter we had a 33-cent beat. That's good for a 20% positive earnings surprise. And I spoke to the guidance for Western Digital. It's not listed here, but we're going to end up seeing estimates move up, maybe even more than this. They said that sales were going to be for the next quarter 4.5 billion versus 4.38 billion, and then earnings for the year, or I guess it's going to be next quarter. So they're going to be between $2.10 at $2 and $2.10, so 205, where the consensus estimate was $1.66. So we're going to expect this number to move up significantly. That, of course, is going to drive up the current year number as well, and it's very likely that's going to move next year's number higher as well, too. So, all the estimates aren't in just quite yet for Western Digital. The company just reported last night. So, the system's still updating, so we're going to expect to see those numbers moving higher.
Last night, January 25th.
Right. Thank you, Terry.
Mm-hmm.
And the next stock here is Seagate. Seagate reported 2 nights ago. It slipped. It was a Zacks rank number one yesterday. It's a number 2 right now. I would expect that to move higher as well. We see a clean slate of A's across the board. Value, growth, momentum. Even the VGM, the composite, is an A. Of 11 times forward earnings, so that looks very good too. Now their guidance is just a little bit different, so let's talk first about the beat here. We see it's an even bigger beat, 3rd beat in a row. Things looking great here. A 29% positive earnings surprise. We're going to expect to see these numbers really start to move higher here. So what did they say? They said 2017 numbers, which were $3.73 before. They said that, and that's the Wall Street number, not the Zacks number. Zacks kind of pulls out some of the stock-based compensation and things like that. So the 373 number is going to move to $4.50. So this number here is going to skyrocket here to probably, in the Zacks terms, probably 460, probably 465. And that's also going to push this number up significantly as well. So in both cases here, we have very large increases in guidance. So we talked about the demand on it, phones, PCs, and the cloud suppliers as well, data centers. But there is something else that's happening here. It's lower cost of goods. So the expenses for both of these companies are going to move down over the next couple quarters, and that's why they're seeing the earnings move up so much. So when we see good growth in revenue, good growth in earnings, and lower costs of supplies here to make even better things, we're going to see margins expand. So when we see all of those things happen, we also see the multiple expand. So that's great news for these things. That's why they are aggressive growth, even while they're so very big. But I do have one final stock. Normally we just talk about two, but today I'm going to throw in an extra one here.
Okay. All right. Well, your basket's getting full of eggs, isn't it?
My basket's full of eggs is right there. And I'm not even close to Easter yet.
See?
Pure Storage, PSTG. This company won't report until the beginning of March, so we have plenty of time. And at about $11.60, we have a Zacks rank number 2. This is another storage play.
Yeah.
So we've got a little bit of time before earnings comes on. But if things are going so well for the big boys in this space, a company that's a good bit smaller, at 2.3, 2.4 billion in market cap, very likely that they're going to have good things to report when they do report in about a month's time.
All right. Well, you've certainly given us a lot of information to store, so we appreciate that.
Store it up.
Do you own either of those three?
I do not own any of these three right now, no.
Okay. Don't forget, you can always access more stock information on these companies and others on our website, Zacks.com. Get on over to the homepage, link to it all from there. With Brian, I'm Terry Ruffalo.